Hey everyone, welcome to Talking Rivals, a brand new show brought to you by Talking Reds, where we discuss our rivals' results this weekend, their upcoming fixtures, players to watch at the moment, and where it sees Liverpool in the table compared to them as well. This will start yesterday, first and foremost, with Manchester City. And yes, they did get a late goal. 96th minute was from John Stones, a John Stones header from Phil Foden corner. And it was heartbreaking at the point, but it's inevitable. It feels like it's inevitable with Manchester City, unfortunately. But we know, as Liverpool fans, we know the machine that is Manchester City, the Pep Guardiola Man City, that they won't give in. They'll play until the last second, and they'll get winners like this from time to time. That's just the way we've got to deal with it. We know we've gone head to head for these 3 or 4 times now. We know what it takes to beat these and what we have to do, and what we expect from them. It was a controversial goal, and I want to discuss that specific goal because so many different views on what happened there. And was it a goal? Was it not a goal? Should it been given? Should it not have been given? The referee on the field give it on offside at the point. I think it was, and they went to VAR, and VAR overturned it and said, "Look, it is a goal." For me, I'm on the camp of the side of I think it was a goal, just because I think that the player wasn't really interfering with Sarr at the point of contact of the header. Like there was a gap between the actual interfering with Sarr and the actual header and the contact with John Stones, and he had enough time to really prepare himself from John Stones' header. So for me, as much as it pains me to say it, I don't want, I could happily hear to say it and be biased and say, look, it was definitely not a goal. Cheating, Man City cheating. But for me, I'm sort of leaning towards it was a goal because of the moment. I think Sarr had time to realise John Stones got a head off here and he could save it. And I think it interfered that much, if that makes sense. And it's easy to fall in the trap of, oh, Man City cheat here on this sort of thing because of still images. Still images are very dangerous, especially when they're put on social media. See on Twitter, you'll see a still image of someone put on like is clearly blocking Sarr, but then it doesn't show the actual video where it comes away from Sarr and it's still got time to prepare from the header. And if you're basing your opinion off a still image or from a biased view, it clouds your judgment. It clouds your judgment. I could see why people could complain possibly that it couldn't be given because they did interfere with him slightly at the beginning. But was it enough? And was it at the right time? Did Sarr have enough time to check himself and to rearrange himself before the header? I do think he did do that. I think they need to start protecting keepers a little bit more. And I think the contact with keepers, I think the initial sort of like backing into them, I don't think it should be allowed for mine, but there's not a rule right now as such. So, I do think it was a goal, and it was inevitable Man City to get this sort of winner. It's watching it live, it was just corner after corner. A wasted shot. They had a couple of on-target shots. Grealish tested him a little bit, but he scuffed the shot a little bit late on. But it still seemed inevitable, even though they weren't really testing Sarr. Throughout the game they did, but towards the latter stage of Marley, it was just desperate shots in the end. It still seemed inevitable that Man City were getting this winner, and this is it. This is, as Liverpool fans, we know what this Man City machine is about. We know what to expect from this Man City and what to expect from us as well. We need to keep up with this, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. They move on now. Who's the player to watch at the moment? Obviously, Haaland didn't have a good game yesterday. Had no shot all game, I don't think, from what I saw. Kevin De Bruyne is out at the moment. Phil Foden's off form. Doku's playing very well at the moment. Vardiol's playing very well at the moment as well. Kovacic is definitely the one to watch for me right now. I think he's sort of balanced that midfield where the losing Rodri is huge. But I think Kovacic is giving that sort of control to City, which they need. And I think he's gone under radar on giving that City that control. Obviously, going to miss Rodri. Rodri's like the biggest miss they can have, even including Haaland and De Bruyne. Rodri's like the glue for that team. A bit like what we had with, like, say, Firmino or Fabinho at the time. They were the glue. And when they left, you saw the glue, you saw the team capitulate a little bit. I think Kovacic has definitely gone under the radar. It was an early goal from Larson for Wolves, and it seemed to be like, yeah, they've got him here. Vardiol always pops up with a goal every now and then. He's a goal scoring defender. He popped up with another goal yesterday, and it was just relentless then, especially towards the end of the second half, where City were just bombarding them, and they got the winner. And that's the way it is. We've got to move on from that now. People are going to still talk about the goal. You see a lot of biased views online where they'll say, "Yeah, it wasn't a goal. Shouldn't have been a goal. City cheating, that and that." City, I've had many iffy moments in the past. The handball against Rodri for Everton a few years back, where we should have won the league. That's a major one that for me, obviously against us with the McAllister challenge, that should have been a penalty as well. But I can't really complain at that yesterday, as in like that's blatantly, obviously shouldn't have been a goal for me. It was. I'm leaning on like the angle of being a goal for me. So I'm not going to complain about too much. I'm just annoyed that Wolves didn't really get anything out of it in general, and was allowed them to get back into it really the way they did. So the next three fixtures for City are at home to Southampton, away to Bournemouth, and away to Brighton. You'd think they would win. They get 9 points out of that. You'd really think that. Southampton at the moment seem to be whipping boys. Bournemouth away, I know they just got a result against Arsenal, so we can always hope on that. But I think Bournemouth. I think City have too much control of the ball for Bournemouth to have a chance. I think Arsenal given way too much respect on Saturday. Obviously, went down to 10 men and missed a couple of players, but the respect they give them was too much, and they got shown up for it. They got absolutely shown up for it. The Brighton away one is another tricky one though for Man City. It should be 3 points for Man City, but Brighton are they're a very weird side that at home they seem to be hard to play against. But again, they got a result against Newcastle where they beat Newcastle away despite getting battered really. But they've got some talented players at Brighton, so if there were any time for someone to get a result against Man City, it probably will be Brighton away in a few games. There's Champions League and an EFL Cup between these fixtures as well, so it could throw things up in the air a little bit for these players. So moving on to the team that did drop points at the weekend, and that is Arsenal. A lot of people didn't see this coming, but Arsenal again down to 10 men. Saliba got sent off in the 30th minute, and they couldn't cope. They couldn't cope down to 10 men. They did it against Brighton. They did it against City, but hung on for the draw because they just played really, really defensive. But at what point is Mikel Arteta going to address the discipline issue at Arsenal and keeping their heads? And also, not just the discipline side of things, but when they are going down to 10 men, ensuring they get a result, especially not losing. So they did that against Brighton, and now they're doing it against Bournemouth, where they've not even got a point out of the game. You know, champions, we've done it before, you know, in the past where we've had down 10 men, we've got a result out of it. We've got a win out of it. And that's champions fight. That's teams to win the league normally do. They somehow find to get a result. But Arsenal don't seem to be doing that. They've not got that clinical striker that can bail them out every now and then. And it's a big worry for Mikel Arteta going into the busy period now, where games are going to get harder. And games are going to come thick and fast, and they're going to have to grind out results. And they have, like last year, they did grind out a few results last year, and they've done a couple of times this year. But those tricky games where, especially down to 10 men, you just got to stick at it and have plan Bs and really grind it out. And it just seems like they don't have that right now. And I'm going to be absolutely honest. I fancied Arsenal to win the league this season, just because I think they improved the squad a little bit better in the summer. I think it's more of a mental thing with Arsenal more than anything. I think they've got the players there. I still think they need a striker, number one. If they went out to get a striker in January, it'd be massive. But it's a mental thing, and if they can get over that mental thing, I think they can win the league. But right now, looking at it, it's still between Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, and Man City are rightly favourites. But Liverpool are sort of sneaking up there in terms of looking more likely than Arsenal right now. And that's just the way it is. If Arsenal can sort themselves out mentally, I think it'll change it. I'm It changed absolutely everything. But Bournemouth played very well. Absolutely, they took it to Arsenal. Despite even when it was like 11 against 11, they still looked quite solid. Bournemouth, they're still giving them as much as they got from them. Ryan Christie got the early goal, and then Clivert got the penalty. It was a clear penalty, and the Saliba red card is another controversial point from this weekend, especially with what happened with yesterday in Levi Colwell against us. Tossing against us. And I went on stream last night and said, look, the tossing, I don't think it was a red card. I think it rightly got given a yellow card because of the trajectory of the ball and the way Colwell sort of coming back as well. But I think the Saliba one was a clear red. There were no one in sight of getting back. The trajectory of the ball was, it was going to be clear, basically. So it was a red card, and I could see, and then people calling consistency of the referees, but I think they got both incidents right in ours and in the Arsenal game. But Arsenal can't keep doing this, and I think Arsenal, some Arsenal fans need to possibly have a lesson learned here. I saw again AFTV midweek that the one guy was talking about being invincible, and it's funny how that happens, and then they lose literally the game after the few days after. And I'll have hopefully have Cecil on this week for the match preview for Arsenal this weekend. So I'll speak to him about that. I will speak to him about that. But Arsenal, obviously they've got us next at home at the Emirates. So it's going to be a huge game. So we've got that now, a little bit of a cushion over Arsenal. We don't want to lose that cushion that quick, and it could easily happen. Arsenal, one of them teams where if they turn up, they turn up, and they did against us last season. They played very well against us last season. They beat us. It's a tough game, but Arsenal have got a few tough games actually coming up. They've got us at home, Newcastle away, and Chelsea away. So they're already playing catch up right now, and having those 3 games straight away after losing to Bournemouth, they basically need to beat us, if I'm honest. Because if they don't beat us, away to Newcastle and away to Chelsea aren't a given. Chelsea playing where they did against us yesterday, I could see them beating Arsenal. Potentially beating Arsenal anyway, at least. So I think it's more of a mental thing right now for Arsenal, and it's huge mentally. This game this weekend is massive mentally. Not just in terms of them dropping off away from us, but they need to bounce back quickly. And what a better way to bounce back than beating us? That's probably the best way to bounce back from a defeat to Bournemouth. Will they? That's a big difference because we're playing very well. We're playing very well at parts at the moment. People are confident. Gavin Birch's playing very well. Salah's at the best is it been in a couple of years. Mohamed Salah. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a very tactical battle on Sunday between us and Arsenal. I really do. I think it's going to be a mindset of Arsenal not wanting to concede, and Liverpool, obviously, at the moment, being the best defence in the league, not wanting to concede. It could be one of those games that just drag out to be a 0-0, possibly. Just based on Arteta not wanting to lose and Slot not wanting to lose. But I think Arsenal have to go for it. And they've got no choice now but to beat Liverpool and bounce back from that defeat from Bournemouth. Moving on to other top 6, I say top 4 rivals right now. And that are playing quite well, and that's 2 teams that have playing better than what we expected of them. I'd say, especially Aston Villa with the Champions League coming into the place as well. Aston Villa got another fantastic win at the weekend, having gone 1-0 down early to Raul Jimenez. They won 3-1 away to Fulham, a very unborn Fulham as well. Fulham are playing very well themselves, so that's no easy feat from Aston Villa. Aston Villa are certainly surprising a lot of people. And they're going again. The win against Bayern Munich were massive, but then obviously the drop points of the weekend straight after that. But this after that international break, I think it came at the right time for Aston Villa, this international break, and they got a brilliant win yesterday. Absolutely, not yesterday. Sorry, on Saturday they got a brilliant win on Saturday, and they move on from that. But they've got a tough list coming up. They've got Bournemouth at home, Spurs away, and us away next 3 games. So the Bournemouth one is a must win with those 2 games after. They will beat Bournemouth, if I'm honest. Rodgers is playing very well. Watkins is looking much better again. Tillemans has fit right in as well. Sorry, I do think that Aston Villa will beat Bournemouth this weekend. But again, away to Spurs and away to Liverpool, they're the games where they're looking at, like, these are the games that we need to get results in if we want to really sustain this top 4 challenge. Can they get a title challenge now? I think a bit far off for title challenging yet. I know they're playing well right now, but certainly top 4 challenge is definitely in there again for them, though. Champions League's coming thick and fast. Champions League this week, so we'll see how they bounce back from the Champions League again this time. With Bournemouth being at home to Bournemouth, I think it might be a little bit easier to bounce back from that Champions League sort of aftermath. But yeah, they are genuine contenders for the top 4 again, and they're certainly up in that. It's not a team that I want to play anytime soon, but we've got them in a few games. And I'm not really looking forward to playing Aston Villa because they're a tough outfit. Amra's got them playing some fantastic football, and they've got some talented players up there. So, like I said, Rodgers is having a fantastic season so far. I definitely want to watch right now. But yeah, they're looking very good at Aston Villa, but I think they may drop off towards the end. Going on from Aston Villa would be Tottenham Hotspur. They've had a bit of Spursy moments. Brighton being the main one, 2-0 up and losing 3-2. But they bounced back again this weekend with a fantastic win and a very dominant win as well to Tottenham. They're looking very good attacking-wise. Obviously, there's still bits and parts of the defence. A bit like Chelsea, really. Defence a little bit shaky at times. But you can see the style of play they're wanting to play, just like at Chelsea with Maresca, that they've got a clear style of play. They just need a few more signings, obviously, especially in defence, and that cover for defence as well. But you can see what they're wanting to play. You can see that it's exciting football. You can see Andrew's got them playing football, and you can see where they're going with this. And they actually, for me, apart from Arsenal, City, Liverpool, they're the favourites for the top 4 for me. The favourites for the top 4, based on the way they're playing as well. Basuma grabbed the goal of the weekend. Kulusevski is the one right now playing out of his skin. Brennan Johnson, again, another player it was a very, I think it was underrated signing when they brought him in, Brennan Johnson, but he really has hit the ground winning, I think, for Tottenham, and is playing very well at the moment. He's given them another outlet. Kulusevski is playing very well. Son's starting to hit a little bit of form as well. Even like Werner coming on makes a little bit of a decent cameo at times as well. So, and he's always a threat as Werner with his pace and his movement. So I do think Tottenham, outside of the main 3, obviously, are the favourites for the top 4, and that it is between them, Chelsea and Villa for the 4th place. Looking at their fixtures coming up, it's away to Palace, home to Aston Villa, and home to Ipswich. You'd be then looking at another 9 points for them, really. Palace haven't started the best this season, and since losing Elise, it's showing, absolutely showing that they've lost Elise. The creativity from that sort of area of the pitch where the 10s and the wingers play is lost. Eze is doing what he can, but Elise is absolutely huge talented player that they're missing this season. Is it more of a do we expect Palace to go better? Possibly. We did expect Palace to do better, like Wharton, Eze, Mateta's on fire last season. Yeah, he was on fire. All these players played well last season. Do we expect them to do it again? And it's a weird season for Crystal Palace. I do see Spurs going there and winning this weekend. Home to Villa, home to Ipswich. Obviously, the Villa one's the big one. It's one of them 6-pointers for the top 4 race at the moment. I know it's early in the season, but it's still a 6-pointer for either side. And I just the way Andrew's got Tottenham playing, I can see them beating Villa at home. Ipswich at home seems to be a given. No offense to Ipswich, but it does seem to be a bit of a given, that one, where they'll end up coming with 3 points. On to Chelsea. Obviously, we know what result was in this because we played them, and they impressed me. I've got to be absolutely honest here. Chelsea absolutely impressed me. We spoke to Theo in the match preview before the game, who was a Chelsea fan, and he said, Maresca plays this way, and he don't change. He don't like how he doesn't change it up, but it sort of worked yesterday to the point where I know they didn't get the result, but they still at times played better than us. I think, and Lavia and Caicedo in the middle were fantastic, especially Lavia. Romeo Lavia was brilliant, and exactly why I wanted Liverpool to buy him, and they showed exactly that. But with Cole Palmer not playing well yesterday, I think that hindered him a little bit. Madueke was very threatening, and I do worry about Chelsea's defence. I don't worry about it because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I do worry for them about their defence. That, you know, is it a bit too shaky at the back? Is it a bit too hit and miss? I think they're easy to get at, and we didn't really test them much yesterday, but we still beat them. I don't think we were amazing, but we still beat them, and that shows that there is issues there with Chelsea. But it's a first season for Maresca. He's got his players playing. It's a shame for Pochettino that he was sacked because he got them playing as well. But Maresca's got them playing. I think they're looking very, very good at the moment. Very, very good. They should be going to go win that Conference League, certainly. And if they keep playing like they did against us yesterday, I see them definitely being in the top 4 race, legitimately. And for me, I know I said Villa are going to be up there, but I still think it's between Tottenham and Chelsea for that 4th place behind the obvious 3. And Chelsea are doing all they can right now to show us they've got plenty of goals in them. They've got plenty of talent in that team. They've got a talented team. I know we laugh at the squad they've got, but they've got some talent. Look at the attacking talent they've got. Cole Palmer, Madueke, Nkunku, Sancho, Neto. They've got some talented players. Even Jackson's a very good player at times. He just needs to add a bit more finishing to his game. But I don't think that they won't be in a top 4 race because of losing yesterday. I won't look. If I was a Chelsea fan, I won't be looking at yesterday and thinking, yeah, that's all negative. We lost the game. It's negative. I've been looking at the positives as well, and I think, yeah, we did play it well here, and we outplayed Liverpool at times at Anfield. So it's going to be an interesting top 4 race coming up. And can I see any of these getting into the apart from Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool? Can I see any of these 3 pushing for a title as well? I think that comes with experience. I think Tottenham and Chelsea have the talent a little bit pushed to say, like, definitely the last third of the season, but I think they'll drop off at some point because of the experience they have and just how open they are, Tottenham and Chelsea. I think they're too open to be, they're too shaky in defence to really sustain a title challenge. But definitely top 4 challenges, and it will be interesting to watch it as well. The teams they've got left, Chelsea, they've got Newcastle at home, United away, and Arsenal at home. So not the easiest of games, not the easiest of 3 games to push on, is it really? I think Newcastle at home, I think they beat them because Newcastle didn't look good at the weekend. I know they dominated, but they didn't look good. They lost the game to Brighton. But United away, it's tough for anyone. I know they're playing crap at the moment, and we all want to play like United right now, but it's still a tough game to play away. I think Chelsea could go away to United and beat them, but it's not an easy game. And then home to Arsenal again, that's up in the air. You don't know what Arsenal's going to turn up. If Arsenal do turn up, they're a very, very tough outfit to even play against. Very stubborn outfit to play against. And if Saka's back for that game and Odegaard possibly back for that game, then it's going to be a tricky game for Chelsea to play away. So I know that they're home to Arsenal, but still, if they could get 7 points out of those games, Newcastle at home, Man United away, Arsenal at home, they're looking very, very good. Very good. I know they lost yesterday against us, but you can't win every game. And Liverpool found that out. We can't win every game. We've won every game by Forest, but we've got a tough fixture list coming up as well. So the top 3 seem to be certain. The teams behind Chelsea, Tottenham could be pushing as far as they can, and then Aston Villa looking good as well for the top 4. And I don't know if you've noticed, there's one team I have left out of this rival watch, and that's Man United. Brighton are up and back there. I think Brighton will drop off. I don't see them as a top 4 rival at the moment, but Man United are not there because answers on the postcard, please. So yeah, this is the first episode of Rival Watch. I hope you enjoyed it. The first episode of Talking Rivals. on Talking About channel. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, get your comments in as well. I want to read your comments. What your thoughts on who's your team to watch out for behind Liverpool? Who's your player to look out for at the moment? And where do you see the top four ending up at the end of the season? Do you see anyone else getting involved in? Do you see a Brighton getting involved in this top four race? What are your thoughts on the top four race, and what are your thoughts on the season so far as a whole? Thank you for joining us, and wish you a good night.